Have you ever walked into a room and felt like the volume of the world was turned up? Just for you, the light a little too bright, the music a little too loud, the tension in other people's voices lingering in your body long after the conversation ends. You watch others move through the same moment, almost untouched, while you leave feeling strangely drained. And at some point, you start wondering why what seems so manageable to them feels so heavy to you. Over time, that difference can begin to feel like a flaw, too emotional, too sensitive, too much, so you start editing yourself. You apologize for reactions you don't fully understand. You tell yourself to toughen up, to stop overthinking, to stop feeling so deeply. But the more you try to shrink your sensitivity, the heavier it becomes. The headaches no one sees, the social hangovers you can't explain, the way you replay conversations, tone, expression, subtext, until simple moments feel like emotional marathons. Eventually the question appears, quiet, painful, familiar. What is wrong with me? Psychology does have a word for what you're experiencing, but labels alone rarely bring relief, because this isn't just about being sensitive. It's about living with a nervous system that reacts deeply to sound, emotion, beauty, criticism, and conflict, often at a level the people around you don't even notice. And without a framework for that, your mind rarely responds with compassion. It responds with judgment. You call yourself dramatic instead of perceptive, weak instead of finely tuned. You assume everyone else is coping better, that they aren't secretly flooded by the same details that overwhelm you. So you push harder, you numb more, you pretend it doesn't hurt, and then you wonder why you're so tired from what looks, on the outside, like ordinary life. But what if this isn't proof that you're broken? What if this intensity has a name, an explanation, a pattern that actually makes sense? In this video, we're going to slow down and look directly at the experience of being a highly sensitive person. Not as a defect to fix, but as a way your brain and nervous system are wired to move through the world. Not with quick tips to get over it, but with understanding, because understanding is often the first real relief. For most of your life, you may have used different words for it. Too emotional, too dramatic, too sensitive. Maybe you were told you overreact, take things personally, think too much. And eventually, you start to believe it. You begin to see your sensitivity as a glitch in your personality, something you're supposed to outgrow, toughen up from, or hide. Psychology offers a different name: sensory processing sensitivity. It sounds clinical, but what it really means is simple. Your nervous system is built to register more detail, more meaning, more emotional nuance. Not because you're weak, but because you're wired to process experience deeply. Research suggests that about 15 to 20% of people share this trait. That's not a disorder. It's not a diagnosis. It's a minority, but a significant one. Enough to be real, just not enough to feel normal in a world designed for thicker skin. Being highly sensitive doesn't just mean you cry easily. It means your brain runs life on deep mode. You reflect more before acting. You notice subtle shifts in tone and expression. You feel other people's moods in your own body. A song, a movie, a passing comment can stay with you for hours, not because you're fragile, but because your system doesn't skim over experience. It absorbs it. But there's a cost. The same depth that allows you to sense more also means you overload faster. Noisy rooms, bright lights, constant demands, emotional tension. Your nervous system doesn't just register these, it works hard to process them. When there's too much, too fast, it's not you being dramatic. It's your nervous system saying, "This is more than I can integrate right now." For many highly sensitive people, overwhelm isn't just mental, it's physical. It can feel like every cell in your body is moving at light speed. Irritation rises quickly. There's a sense of urgency, even desperation, not because something terrible is happening, but because your system is flooded and needs relief. When this state goes unrecognized, it's easy to mistake it for a personality flaw instead of a physiological signal. Being highly sensitive isn't something to fix or overcome. It's not a malfunction. It's a way of experiencing the world that runs deeper than average. The real work isn't becoming less sensitive. It's understanding your sensitivity well enough that it stops feeling like a problem and starts feeling like a strength with specific needs. For highly sensitive people, overwhelm rarely looks dramatic from the outside. It's often quiet. You're in a room full of people. Everyone else seems fine, but you can feel the emotional temperature shifting. A joke lands wrong. Someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. A trace of tension passes between two people, and your body registers it, all like tiny alarms going off at once. You're not just hearing words, you're absorbing tone, posture, pauses, subtext. By the time you get home, you're exhausted. Not because anything terrible happened, but because your nervous system has been working on a deeper level all day. This is one of the hidden costs of being sensitive in a fast, loud, emotionally demanding world. And for many, the most draining moments aren't loud at all. They're quiet acts of self-suppression, avoiding conflict even when something feels wrong, or staying too long in social situations that never quite move past the surface. Conversations that require constant politeness, emotional guessing, or small talk can quietly exhaust you, even when nothing overtly negative happens. While others shake things off, you often need more recovery time. Time alone, time to downshift, time for your system to catch up. But instead of honouring that need, you may judge it. You call yourself weak, difficult, too much. So you adapt, not because it feels right, but because you don't want to be inconvenient. You don't want to be perceived as overly sensitive or demanding. You stay longer than you should. You soften your reactions. You minimize what your body is clearly asking for. Over time, this teaches your nervous system a painful lesson, that your sensitivity is a problem to hide, not a reality to support. This is why boundaries and self-compassion aren't luxuries for highly sensitive people. They're necessities. Understanding how your nervous system reacts to stimulation changes everything. Not by making you immune to overwhelm, but by helping you recognize it sooner. When you can name overstimulation as it's happening, it becomes easier to withdraw without guilt, to leave before collapse, to set boundaries without feeling like you're failing. Awareness doesn't harden you, it gives you permission. Saying no, leaving early, taking breaks, naming your needs. These aren't failures at being normal, they're signs that you're finally letting your nervous system matter. Sensitivity is not a problem you are given to fix. It's a depth you are born to honour. Your growth will never come from forcing yourself to be less. It will come from understanding and supporting the more that's already there. If something in this video echoed your own experience, you can write one sentence that resonated with you, or just a few words for how you feel right now. Reading these helps others realise they're not alone. And if you want a place to return to for quiet clarity and emotional grounding, you can subscribe. Not as a challenge, not as a promise to change overnight, but as a gentle decision to keep coming back to yourself. Because being sensitive doesn't make you weaker, it makes you more aware. And with awareness, real choice becomes possible. Often quieter choices, gentler choices, but ones that finally work with your nervous system instead of against it. Struggle doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human and still moving.